Howdy, and welcome to Course in Miracles using the White Edition, which you can get on Amazon, Part A and Part B. So today's lesson out of the first 50 of the 365 lessons that we're doing together from this Course in Miracles is lesson 28. Above all else, I want to see things differently. And I'll just crack into it because the sun is about to drop right in front of my face here and blind me. So again, up there it is. So alright, so today we are really giving specific application to the idea for yesterday, which was above all else I want to see. In these practice periods, you'll be making a series of definite commitments. Right? The question of whether you will keep them in the future is not our concern here. If you are willing at least to make them now, you have started on the way to keeping them, and we are still at the beginning. You may wonder why it is important to say, for example, above all else, I want to see this table differently. In itself, it is not important at all. Yet, what is by itself and what does in itself mean? You see a lot of separate things about you, which really means you are not seeing at all. You either see or not. Salvation is not partial. Right? It's totally uncompromising. You're either using Christ's vision or I'm not using Christ's vision. Right? It's like everything is God. Right? Everything is connected. Everything is one. And we're learning to see that through relinquishing the old way of seeing that we've taught ourselves badly. You either see or not. When you have seen one thing differently, you will see all things differently. The light you will see in any one of them is the same light you will see in them all. So when you say above all else, I want to see this table differently, you are making a commitment to withdraw your preconceived ideas about the table and open your minds to what it is and what it is for. You are not defining it in past terms. You are asking what it is rather than telling it what it is. You are not binding its meaning to your tiny experience of tables, nor are you limiting its purpose to your little personal thoughts. Little human. You will not question what we have already defined. And the purposes of these exercises is to ask questions and receive answers. In saying above all else, I want to see this table differently, you are committing yourself to seeing. It is not an exclusive commitment. It is a commitment which applies to the table just as much as to anything else, neither more nor less. You could in fact gain vision from just that table if you could withdraw all your own ideas from it and look upon it with a completely open mind. If you could withdraw all your own ideas from it and look upon it with a completely open mind. When was the last time you looked at anything like that? When was the last time you looked at absolutely anything? This thing, without the past impressed upon it. If you were a baby, seeing one of these things for the first time, you would stare at it for ages. You'd be doing this and fiddling with it, and then somebody has to tell you what it is, and then you start to make these little synapse connections in your mind, and before you know it, it's just a leaf. Bloody leaves, got to rake them up. I'll take that leaf for granted. But it's really quite a miraculous, like, wow, how is that even possible? Atoms and molecules whizzing around at light speed and then bushka. You could in fact gain vision from just that table if you could withdraw all your own ideas from it and look upon it with a completely open mind. It has something to show you, something beautiful and clean and of infinite value, full of happiness and hope. Hidden under all your ideas about it is its real purpose, the purpose it shares with all the universe. In using the table as a subject for applying the idea for today, you are therefore really asking to see the purpose of the universe. You will be making this same request of each subject which you use in the practice periods, and you are making a commitment to each of them to let their purpose be revealed to you instead of placing your own judgment upon them. We will have 6 2-minute practice periods today in which the idea for the day is stated first and then applied to whatever you see in looking about you. Not only should the subjects be chosen randomly, but each one should be accorded equal sincerity as today's idea is applied to it, in an attempt to acknowledge the equal value of them all in their contribution to your seeing. As usual, the applications should include the name of the subject which your eyes happen to light on, and you should rest your eyes on it while saying, above all else, I want to see this blank differently. Each application should be made quite slowly and as thoughtfully as possible. There is no hurry. You're not going anywhere. And I'll tell you a little story just briefly about something that happened to me. Well, the sun's in my face now, but something that happened to me, a metaphysical, spiritual experience, whatever you want to call it. Many years ago, I did that lesson, and I'm pretty sure it was that lesson. And I was walking up the street. I'd done my lesson first thing in the morning, and then I'd been to a meditational class, a talk that was given by my teacher Ted at that time, or it might have been Greta. And afterwards, I went for a walk just by myself. I was feeling extremely light and connected, and all this sort of really nice feeling that you should feel after a good meditational session. And I just went for a walk by myself into town in Byron Bay from the epicenter and up to the beach, up that way, just to allow all the energy and all the light that I'd experienced during that meditation to sort of integrate. And that was my lesson. So I had been practicing that lesson a little bit as I was walking just at things, looking at things, each one as sincerely as the next. And then I got to town, and I'm walking up past the Focus gift shop in Johnson Street, I think it was. And there was a big crowd of people coming towards me, which nowadays is every day. There's a big crowd of people in Byron Bay, but back then, not such a big deal, unless it was tourist time, the weekend, etc. But I was incredibly happy and incredibly peaceful doing my lesson. And I remember looking at the people coming towards me, feeling quite fulfilled and joyous about being one with everything. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, these are all my brothers. Like, just looking at them, how beautiful they all were. And then all of a sudden, they faded out. The whole street, everything faded. Their bodies faded, my body faded to this kind of blue-grey hue. And everything was very translucent. And I could see a light right here, just walking towards me like this, all these lights like coming towards me from the people that were walking towards me. And I was shown that no, the body is not your brother. It is that which inhabits the body, or that which commands or uses the body, the avatar. That is your brother. Your brother in Christ is the light in you and the light in each of us. So very, very beautiful teaching, that one. Very, very beautiful. And if you are in the neighbourhood at any point in any time, drop in and we'll do a light session. I like to still do them these days, and there's always something happens. And I'll do another. There's something else I want to talk to you about, but I'll do another video separately from that one. It's about beginning and having students and things after an experience that I had over the last few days. All right. Love you. Take it easy. Do your lesson. Write it on your arm with a big pen if you need to. If you keep forgetting, do whatever it takes. But like, try to remember. Try to use the power of your own mind to remember. But if you keep forgetting and you find that it's frustrating and everything else, just get a pen and write it on your arm and just do your lesson. Big black marker, which is what I used to do. But, all right, I love you. Take it easy, and I'll see you for lesson 29 tomorrow.